How you doing, guys? Daniel back again with another video for you. Today I'm going to be talking you through how I paint my Imperial fists. I've done a video or two on this before because I've painted a lot of Imperial fists in my time, but I just want to show you, for any newcomers that have come along since Combat Patrol magazine started, I'm going to show you how I paint these guys. Yeah, my Space Marines I'll be painting as Imperial fists rather than the Ultramarines that will be the colour scheme in Combat Patrol. So Imperial fists are yellow rather than blue, that's the main thing. I'm going to be doing it using Nasdreg yellow over this pink and white, or pink and just off-white primer. So hopefully it'll go well. We'll go to the desk down now. I'm going to be getting nice and close for you. We're going to go to the desk down and you can see me painting my Imperial fist. Whoa! So first off, what I'm going to do is get my paints ready and out. I've got contrast medium here first. Got the remains of Nasdreg yellow here. Let's see how this actually looks in pot. It's interesting. Look, it's like a gloopy looking pot. I'll give it a shake, see if it works loose at all. This is kind of like Nasdreg yellow concentrate, I'd say. So what I'm going to do is thin it with some contrast medium. Yeah, I think I'm going to go 75-25 contrast medium to Nasdreg yellow. I'm thinking of painting the Terminators that come in the set with black shoulder pads, because I've already got a lot of 5th company Imperial fists, but the Imperial fists also spawned, as well as the Crimson fists, they also spawned a chapter called the Black Templars, who were essentially like some of the finest knights in the galaxy, and I want my Imperial fist to sort of hold on to and retain some of that idea that the Imperial fist produces some of the finest knights in the galaxy. The Templars were like the ultra elite 1st company of the Imperial fist Legion of Space Marines during following the Great Crusade and during the Horus Heresy. So yeah, I want them to hold on to some of that identity without having the ultra zealousness of the Black Templars. I mean, they will be pretty zealous, like most of the Emperor's troops are, but you know, look at that yellow already. That is absolutely gorgeous. But this is the thing about painting yellow over pink and white, or yellow over pinks and yellow over reds and stuff like that. If you get a translucent paint like a contrast paint or an army paint, a speed paint, and there's other companies do their own versions of them, and you whack it over a pink, where the pink is more intense in these recessed areas, it'll come out like an orangey colour, and that's why in order to speed paint these Imperial fists, I've primed them the way I have done, because you can immediately see a lot of the work of shading is done for you without having to do anything. Or that's just like 2 rattle can primes that's done that, and that took what, for this character, probably 30 seconds for each primer, so it took a minute, and then I could, in theory, I could just slap this paint all over, and it had come out pretty well. One thing to be careful of with contrast paints though, they will pool in certain areas, so on large panelled models like Space Marines, so contrast paints aren't the handiest for Space Marines, so you will get areas of pooling, like just at the around his ankle, this area here. You want to make sure you wick that paint away before it starts to dry. If it starts to dry and you try and wick it away, it'll come away like you're peeling skin away. Like, imagine you've got a blister and you pull at the blister and pull it off your skin. It's like that. Sorry for that disgusting analogy there, but yeah, it's a bit like that. So before the blister forms, I don't know how you prevent a blister forming, but before the blister forms, if there was a way to prevent it forming, by wicking away some of the fluid. I suppose what you could do is puncture your skin before the blister forms, and then the fluid would come out. But yeah, anyway, that's my medical knowledge is exhausted and probably gone beyond its limitations there. You can't actually see most of up the cape there. If you look, like, there's no light getting to it, so I don't have to worry too much about those areas on the back of the legs. There is certain angles that you can get to those areas there. So basically, if your brush can't get to it, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to see it. But yeah, just like push your brush in there. This is a shade brush from Games Workshop, a brush with like large, long bristles, which helps keep. Yeah, I think we'll get one of these in the run of the magazine. But yeah, it'll help keep it keeps a lot of paint in the bristles, basically. A shade brush, which enables you to slap it on a miniature like this and keep going without going back to your paint too often. Just having a little trouble seeing where I've painted around here. This is one of the problems with painted assembled miniatures. Did I glued this guy together, didn't I? So I can't pull his arm off to quickly check. If I can get to the area a little better there. Yes, I'm really happy with that ratio of 75 to 25 Nasdreg yellow. On these white areas, you'll see the yellow appears far brighter, and then it's deeper and like orangey, more saturated in those pink areas. Second company are typically wear gold trim, but gold and yellow, heraldically gold and yellow are the same. So what my plan is for the second company is to just paint them with yellow shoulder pads, shoulder trim. So that means I won't actually have to paint the trim on the shoulders, which may make them look a bit plain, but for the characters and stuff, what I'll do is pick it out with like a bronzy looking gold, in order to differentiate there, and you'll be able to see that it is actually second company. You'll notice that I'm washing my brush, even though I'm going to be going back to the same paint. That's because I don't want to get any pigment in the contrast medium when I recharge my palette now. And it's a really simple method I'm using for measuring the ratio here. I'm literally just going 1, 2, 3 dollops of contrast medium, like 3 brushfuls it is effectively, to 1 brushful of Nasdreg yellow. I've not actually opened this paint for ages, and it's not because it's the contrast paint that I've used most of, I think. So it's not because I don't like it or anything like that. It's just because I've barely painted in recent years. So it's nice to get the brushes out again and slap some paint on a miniature. I was working on an Inquisimundo warband. Now, if you're new to Warhammer 40k, that'll take a lot of explaining, so I won't do it here in this video. But it's just essentially a highly converted group of like 5 to 10 miniatures that you put together using different miniatures essentially. You can make them yourself as well if you wanted to. But yeah, they're just to represent a ragtag band of explorers, essentially.
Right, that's just about as much of this stupid Yumi as I can handle. Everything he's doing in this video has been done by a million other YouTubers. To cut a long story short, yellow over pink is the way to go if you want those rich tones. The whiter areas remain nice and bright like a natural highlight. Don't forget to wick away any excess paint from those flat panels on Space Marine armour.
And here's the final result. As you can see, it is not always the smoothest using contrast paint on Space Marines. There's some slightly splotchy areas, but you should also be able to see in the recessed areas and the undersides the richer, more saturated tone of the yellow showing through where that pink was in the base coat.
I've got more painting guides and just like little tips on what I like to do. I'll probably do some technique painting guides to clarify some of the techniques that will be shown off throughout the course of Combat Patrol magazine. If there's anything particular you want me to do, just let me know in the comments below. I can do more than yellow, so hopefully you'll see that in a future video. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.